Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Hyperion, and welcome back to the Wilds of Wildemount campaign. Today, we will be doing session 57 with Group B. And with that, we have myself playing as Moonzic, Brine played by Kale, and Rocky playing Edward. And before we do anything else, I want to give a
Wait,
big shout out to
wait,
Dawn.
wait, 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 wait,
Ooh,
wait, wait.
what?
What's that sound? Is that Describe? Our sponsors for
Whoa!
today. That
I
music to
put this
your
up here.
ears. That music to your ears is the wonderful opus. That is one wonderful opus by Describe, providing all of the backgrounds that you hear throughout all of our sessions. Not only can you get a wonderful set of soundscapes, but also fully written out box text for you to use as your heart desires. In addition, they have some fantastic maps that are interactive that you can scroll your mouse over and read the box text for different descriptions of different places on the map. It's really cool. If that's at all interesting to you, go to describe.com/wow or/and use code WOW at checkout for 10% off your first month subscription. Back to you, Cameron.
Thank you, Describe, for being a sponsor. Now, I want to give another shout out to our good friend Dawn. Uh, uh, Thank you so much for doing the recording and streaming for Group A. For those of you in stream, go check out twitch.com/dawnofTime06. Give him a follow. He is going to be recording on the opposite week of us, doing Group A. With that out of the way, also, before Edward does recap, the music is not playing. I don't know if that's intended.
It is not intended, but I can start it again.
Okay. All right. And with that, without further ado, we have a recap brought to you by our wizard, Edward Snowgale.
Last time on the Wilds of Wildemount, Brine had gone through a frantic process which subjects her to interviews with an audience of the upper echelons of the Kobold Soul, subject to great scrutiny and duress with her affiliation due to Ukuktoa. She was put under an interview which was more reminiscent of an interrogation, if anything else. During this time, Brine took every opportunity to show that her conviction and her steadfast resolve, and with it the fruits of her resolve came through as she finally saw to it that she received the promotion of the Kobold Soul's ranks, and with it access to higher tier knowledge. Moonzic, however, was taking up his own little journey as he saw to it that the trunk of keepsakes held in Annabeth's lair had to be found back to the rightful owner's lost next of kin, along with the reassurance of the tale that their souls were in fact avenged. Each trinket led to a facet of sorrowful tales, but one such case captivated him, as he himself saw a person that was unable to at least sustain themselves towards a dignified means of living. With some assistance, Moonzic saw to it that that person received proper care and nursed, well, physically nursed that person back in order to achieve some sort of peace of mind in himself, knowing that not only have the lost victims been avenged, but at least their next of kin had some hope to look forward to in the future. Meanwhile, Edward himself was mulling over a specific book, The Canon of Changes, Volumes 1 and 2. Within it, the secrets eluded him, sort of like shifting pathways in a labyrinth of words and riddles, trickery held behind literal manifestations of pages of words. one such riddle found himself perplexed. A riddle stating what walks between fire and stone, never burning, never warmed. After much deliberation and some keen, insightful thinking, Edward was able to deduce the answer of this, and with it unlocking the powers and mysterious magical changes. That is the canon of changes.
Hell
Yep, that's it.
yeah,
That was wonderful.
that's right. So, one clerical note before we begin things. We're gonna try something slightly different in terms of hero points. I'm going to try and see what it feels like to, rather than having you guys roll for hero points, when cool things happen, I can just give you a hero point, and that will just get added to your pool.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So we're gonna give that a
Oh
try.
yeah.
I'd be yeah, let's give it a go.
Because I think rolling one hero point sucks ass.
Yeah.
And also not getting a hero point when you do cool shit just because somebody else did subjectively cooler shit than you is not as fun. So, we're gonna give this a try. Hopefully it works out. So, Moonzic, you are just finishing up your shift as a medic in the Nicodranus area. What do you typically do just after a particularly tough shift?
After a particularly tough shift, I suppose he would probably go to the tavern or inn that he's staying at, and probably order some, or go to a restaurant or something to order a meal and some drink and just kind of relax and unwind before heading back to his room.
You are sitting in a semi-crowded tavern, just attached to the inn that you have been staying in, and you have this tingly, almost electric sensation in the back of your head, a sensation that you are familiar with. You think that someone may be trying to reach you.
He will... he said it's semi-crowded. Is he more towards the center, or is he up at, like, the bar, or is he kind of, like, off in a corner by himself?
Tell me, where would Moonzic be sitting in after a particularly tough day? Would he choose to be in the center?
He would probably be more off in the corner. He still kind of likes to keep the shadows, even in disguise.
Do you make any move to leave this space? I'm just curious.
I feel... I'd say yes. After any sort of food or drink that he might have consumed, he will put down however much he needs to pay for it, and he'll head back to his room.
Okay. You don't even get to the door of your room before you hear the frantic whisper of Ty. I don't remember how she sounds. Are you there? You hear it kind of like muffled, as it almost like hones in to your connection with each other.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Ty.
I'm so happy to hear your voice.
As am I. I thought you were dead for the longest time.
No, simply very busy.
I can imagine so. I suppose you probably know that there was a group of assassins sent after me.
And I also heard about their demise and lack of a return.
Yes, well, I had intended to interrogate one of them that we had taken alive, but it seems that there was a protocol involved and he took his own life when he came back to.
It is always the case. Though I must say, it certainly has certainly been causing some issue. That level of dedication.
Really? So,
Things here have not been going smoothly.
has a war broken out?
Not yet, no. But Pabir is consolidating the power
I had a feeling.
and surrounding himself with corrupt people. I tell you, there are bribes flowing through every level of government.
So I assume that my father has passed then?
In a way.
I don't like the sound of that.
Nobody has seen your father. It was declared that he was dead, but no body was produced.
What of Mother?
Distraught, inconsolable. She had been keeping it together, mostly. But she has since turned in herself. I'm afraid that she is a fraction of the woman she was.
How terrible. So, I have a question for you. A couple of questions. The first one I have for you is, have you heard of a being who calls himself the Broker?
Describe him.
Oh...
You see, there's a bit of uncomfortable tone in her voice. Like she may know, but she doesn't know.
Eyes that are different in shape from each other. One of them looks like a gem. Horns. He has this air of everything is a game to him. Wings that kind of look like a bat's.
I was afraid that that was who you were talking about.
Yes.
Suspicious, really.
What do you know of him?
One day, out of nowhere, not too not too long before your father's disappearance. A man, as you described, showed up. It was like he was like a harbinger of what to come. That strange appearance couldn't be anything just out of the ordinary.
No. To my understanding, he is quite old.
He held a meeting with your brother. And we made several very fast advancements. Suddenly, Ankarel was able to produce these flowers en masse.
And you know how they work, correct?
Yes. They bring people from one place to another. As for its mechanics, I don't know that. I don't know how they are created or what magics take place.
We've found 2 other flowers similar in nature to this gilded lily. We have one in our possession that allows us to travel back and forth. And another one that has a more sinister air about it. The big question I have is, what is Pabir planning to do with those flowers? It can't just be for hunting me down.
No. No, it does not. There hasn't been anything that he has outright said. But a few things have been going on in the upper echelon, if you will, that is having significant impact on the citizens. I had mentioned to you the consolidating of power.
Yes.
It has led to the common citizen not able to have proper representation or justice. It's been causing uprisings. There's a sense of rising military tension, if you will. Soldiers patrolling the streets with a increasingly heavier hand, brutal force to quell protests, a overall growing sense of fear and resentment among the people. And that only leads to more protests, more uprisings breaking out daily. There are food shortages and rising taxes and harsh punishments, I think, that are intended to quell the unrest. As to what is causing, there are many noble houses in Ankara. You're familiar with them.
Of course.
With the passing of, and I say this in quotations, of course, with the passing of your father, many nobles are in disarray. Some are loyal to the former king, and some are loyal to Pabir. People in the houses are torn between profiting from the chaos and scheming to overthrow him. There are secret meetings held between the houses, more than there has been previously. We are well and accustomed to the back dealings of many of the houses. It is led to an increase of the assassination profession. It's not just against you, but also within the ruling structure itself. Pabir has been paranoid, suspecting of everyone around him of treachery, which is why it's taken me so long to reach you.
I understand. A
few key players have disappeared in a similar nature to your father, except sometimes their bodies are found.
Sometimes.
Sometimes not.
What state are the bodies found in when they are found?
It varies. It seems to be multiple different hands in play. From what we've seen, we've had a poisoning, we've had a stabbing, we've even had a suspicious death of falling off of a building.
That definitely fits the MO of our assassins. Veritable and cause can't be traced back very well.
I have overheard some talks of the not rival, with other places having a hand, foreign powers having a hand, whether it be causing or profiteering from the instability. Many people have mentioned Ancorel being sold off piece by piece to these foreign interests.
Sold off. That does not leave me with a good feeling at all. I know rumors are just rumors, but there is some truth to them, at least.
Tell me more about this broker fellow.
Well,
what is his deal?
He seems to be of a neutral party. He has had dealings with us, and he's had dealings with Pabir, and he's had dealings with an archdemon that we've ended up slaying. He seems to take quite a bit of interest in one of my party members. And I did mention that he's very old. He's mentioned, I forget what the ancient event is called, that...
The Calamity.
Yeah. He's mentioned the Calamity as an interesting point in time. And has made mention of being tied to each of the gods. All of them. Although, the way he operates is very peculiar. He cannot take any object or piece of information without giving another object or piece of information in turn. It very much befits his name. A tradesman, dealing in everything. And he hopes one day to be free of that agreement that he holds between himself and the gods.
That is concerning indeed.
I'm not sure if we can call him a friend at this point. But at the same time, he does not seem to be actively against us. At least, my party. And the other thing that I learned is that at least, and I've discovered this for myself, one of my disguises has been compromised. I do not know if there are any more, or if all of them are compromised.
What should I call you now?
I'm unsure. My friends call me Moonzic. At least until I return. That's what I'll be known as. I'm just unsure of what course of action I should take at the moment.
I will see what I can do here. I've been trying. If I find information,
If you find information,
especially about how you're identified.
Yeah. Yes, please find out whatever you can. If things become urgent in Ankara, let me know. If you have even the slightest thought that your cover might be blown, leave. I would be beside myself if I lost you. Try to, if it's at all possible, try and take Mother with you as well. I don't think it is possible, but there's even a hope.
Don't get yourself killed, Moonzic.
Well, I'm still here, aren't I? And he'll kind of reply with a little chuckle in his voice. Don't get yourself killed either.
It's a promise, then.
As it's always been.
And with that, she leaves the conversation.
The Discord
Yeah.
voice call just ends.
Yeah.
I actually panicked. Like,
Nope.
who left?
I used the soundboard.
I get a thing that pops up in my vision of how I should rate the call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, come on, don't be spamming soundboards. Not
No, they're not gonna spam.
Good thing I have them muted.
Yeah, but it wasn't that funny after that.
Okay.
Okay, so Brine, you find yourself seeking an audience with a god. Sorry, just a second. It was a really bad moment to decide to put something in my mouth. Okay. Sorry, it's still there.
Hmm?
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. So, you find yourself wanting to seek an audience with a god. You have been taken somewhere in a large room, a stained glass, stained glass reflecting the light as it comes in. You are finally left alone. What do you say as you try to reach out to Ayun?
Brian kind of walks underneath the light cast down by the stained glass window. Sits down. Closes her eyes. I've never really thought that you'd be much one for prayer, but if you can hear me, Ayun, I would like instruction.
From behind you, you hear a squeak of sorts. A squeak of stone and wood. And as you turn your head, sitting in a rocking chair with a crochet hooks and thread, yarn, an elderly lady. And she says to you, "Oh, Brine, there's no need to prostrate yourself like that. Come, I have a chair for you. And you see, indeed, a chair.
Brine walks up and sits down, a little unsure.
Brine, how are you feeling?
Overwhelmed, scared, a little confused.
Good. And as you kind of lean back and you just take like a look, you find yourself, you're holding a cup of tea. Calming. Something to put your shaking hands on.
Through everything that I've read, there's stories, plenty of stories about those who found ways of breaking their pact, but almost never how.
The breaking of a pact is incredibly difficult. It is why it does not happen often. It would take someone of the same power who created the pact to break it. In history, there have been several such people who have gained enough power themselves to best the person, the being, who gave them the pact. This is true in mortal society as well. When you make a promise, a deal, a pact amongst those with less power than that of gods and other deities, that holds power. An exchange has to be made for a pact to work, just as an exchange has to be made for a pact to be broken. Do you understand?
I think so.
I would be willing to assist you with your pact if you are willing to do something for me. I heard from the broker that you have been making deals, and I, too, wish to experience such things every once in a while. It breaks up the monotony of being worshipped, you see.
Well then, let us make a deal.
All right. What I desire from you, we will find out right after this break. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you. I just have to pull up the notes.
Brine's glaring at the DM.
Let's see, where was it? fuck is it? Fuck, I'm sorry, my notes are so long. Okay. Brine, I have for you a place to seek. You see, there is this small town in the middle of the Morrow Valley, under the control of the Dwendalian Empire at this moment. I'm sure that you're familiar enough with it. It is called Allfield.
Okay.
In Allfield, I believe there is a fragment of a piece of me. Back in the Age of the Calamity, I was injured. And there are parts of me that still linger. I believe that you have encountered such pieces, the Ioun stones.
That's what those are?
Pieces of me.
I take it you'd like them returned?
No. I certainly do not mind the stones that you mortals use. It brings me a great deal of satisfaction to see the ways in which little bits of knowledge make their way and improve the lives of those who use them. This piece of me is much larger. I cannot tell you exactly the form of which this piece has taken. I do not know. But I know a piece of it was there. I wish you to destroy it.
I do have a question of you.
Please.
The terms of our deal, I helped you out. You sever my connection to Uk'otoa. Upon exiting your domain of protection, if I hold Uk'otoa's power, whatever task I might do, he would be able to surveil and perhaps harm me. However, if you were to break the pact for me initially, I have not the power to fulfill my end of the bargain.
I understand. And in doing me this great service, I will grant you access to information. It will come to you, as it does to many of those who are in need.
Information too?
Things of alchemical nature, I think, would suit you best, Brine. Given your interests. What say you?
Brine looks visibly confused. I'm not sure what you mean, but it sounds like a fairly awesome deal.
Awesome.
What can I do but accept? Of course, thank you. Will you give me time to properly learn what I might from this knowledge to gain what power it might give me, and allow my friends to accompany me to Alfield?
Certainly. I suspect that you wouldn't be able to keep this information from them.
I can keep some stuff, if it is necessary. But I would not keep... I don't think it would be wise for me to keep the entirety of this a secret. I think it might be too obvious anyway.
I trust that you, Brine, will be able to navigate the risk and cost value of distributing such information.
Thank you. Brine is going to bring forth her Rod of the Pact Keeper and her Tome of Many Secrets. These are the most powerful artifacts I have in representation of my pact with Ugatoa.
You can just leave them here. Please, put it on the bookshelf and hang the staff. And as you look around, there is indeed a bookshelf and an empty spot for a staff.
I do as I'm asked.
I'll be seeing you, Brine. As you hear as you put your staff up, and when you turn around, there is only a rocking chair with the still knitting well, the still crocheting yarn and sticks. And then when you look back to your staff in the bookshelf, it too is gone. And as your eyes flick back over to the rocking chair, it is no more. And that's where we're going to stop for now.
Okay, we'll
We're
be
gonna go on
taking a break, and we'll be coming back in a little while. It'll be an extended break today. And we're back. We've had a bit of an extended break indeed. It's been a couple days, but we are back into it. Emily, what do you got for us?
Brine, you exit your meeting with Ioun. Find yourself significantly less powerful than before. How, just after getting shaking hands with Professor Namorn and posed questions of like, how are you doing? How'd things go? You know, that style of questioning. You find yourself back on Firewatch Island. What are the thoughts that are running through your head?
I feel weaker, just a little bit, and incredibly confused. I don't know how I'm supposed to start.
That's okay.
I know I was supposed to be given some kind of...
Hold on.
No, this is...
Oh, this is real. I thought you were talking out of character. I apologize.
Yes, but my thoughts were...
So
Sorry, I'll use the voice. I apologize. Sorry, there's a little bit of mental load there.
I imagine Brian's probably like...
Just...
Go ahead.
She's confused. She doesn't know where to start. She's just like... I know Ioun said I could... that she'd help me in terms of getting some kind of power. Said something about alchemy, but I just genuinely don't know the first thing about alchemy, about
You're
any of
sitting at a
this.
table.
I just need it.
Oops, sorry.
I just need any hint.
You're explaining your situation to two of your dear friends, Edward and Moonzic, all at the table.
With the pact being broken, has Brian's appearance gone back to what it originally was?
It has not.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that Edward deals with some alchemy. He is a wizard after all. What are your thoughts, Edward?
But you think just because I'm a wizard, I deal with intellectual topics of all varieties? Because you'd be absolutely right. This actually fascinates me with no end inside.
Of course, he goes for the gaslight.
I'm glad to know that my predicament fascinates you. I do have access to a new level of the library, and I've been reading for the last 3 days, but nothing there really talks about, well, a lot talks about pacts, but nothing really talks about gaining power. I've been trying to do like the wizard thing, but that's not been working out very well. never was able
Well,
to
I mean,
cast
they
spells
have a
that way.
saying. I mean, they have a saying. The path to acquiring wizardry is is really only set on the path in which those find themselves at ambition's end. That's just a saying, but that's not relevant. In either case, I'm wondering I'm wondering what your particular motive is. Like, what specific interest has set you on this sort of path for you to seek out
What the-
such means of attaining power?
Well, I mean, firstly, having Ayun break my pact for me wasn't free. And certainly, I'm going to have to deal with other warlocks of Ukatoy at some point. And I want to continue helping you guys out. I can't just go around powerless. She holds out her hand, tries to cast Eldritch Blast. Nothing happens.
Just a little puff of air.
No
No,
puffs.
not even.
Nah.
Nothing happens.
She just sticks her hand out. No Eldritch Blasts. Truly, they stripped everything that made Warlock so powerful. Oh, I suppose all your power is gone then.
You know what? What if I tried to cast a wizard spell I've already cast?
Well, I mean, I do know that certain lines of elves do come with some sort of innate magical
I can still teleport. That's not helping. You remember I had that book from Ukador that described how to do shit? Give me your spellbook, Edward.
Okay.
Let me try something.
Edward is going to hand over the spellbook.
All right, where's Polymorph?
It still says flustered by love, by the way. It
I
still
have
says flustered by love.
I do have a question for you, Edward. What is Cole doing at this moment?
Cool.
You know, your bird.
Sitting in a pocket dimension.
Okay.
She asked a bit of
Does Cole does he want to telepathically message me?
No, I was just wondering what Cole was doing in that moment. If Cole is just sitting in a pocket dimension, that's just what Cole's doing. That's okay.
Just vibing.
All right, fair enough.
I just kind of imagine Cole flitting about, but again, that's not important.
Let's try one of your ritual spells. Which one do you suggest, Edward?
I mean, ritual spells most of them are really complex in nature, but I think some of the simplest ones, a simple alarm spell, has some sort of conciseness, an elegant conciseness to it.
All right. So alarm right here. What the fuck is this incantation? I can't read your handwriting. How do I say this?
Well, I feel like a lot of the ritual components for the spells in itself is sort of the setup for being able to channel something without the expense of the user's expenditure of magic power.
Okay, out of game, the material components are a tiny bell and a piece of fine silver wire. You're just putting a tripline across a door.
It's a magical tripwire that connects to your brain.
Your brain being the tiny bell.
Yeah. It's all sleight of hand and puns. What the fuck?
I mean, mostly, the ritual in itself is to establish some degree
Brine-
of.
Brian starts trying to do the ritual, and she messes up like every second word of the verbal thing. It does not go well.
You see, a ritual in itself sort of establishes not really as much, like evocation or any of that kind of nature, but more so as sort of this temporary bond between the materialistic components that you set up in a particular area. Instead of trying to focus on channeling magic, instead try to focus on the fact that you can ingrain your thoughts and imbue it inside of this tiny wire.
Smoke
I
starts
think
coming
that
out
in
of Brent's
itself, the
ears.
outlook helps your perspective on how you approach spellcasting. It's not just chant words and magic happens from your fingertips, right?
Moonzic leans over and whispers, "Are you getting any of this? This is going right over my head."
I mean, I could probably pass the test if I was asked to.
I mean, to be
You
fair
know, with
though,
the
pass
70.
the test, you need to be fair. If you want to pass the test of casting alarm, you need the message to get into your head and not over.
You know, just
But I digress. It's magic is more
with an
about.
exam on the concept, sure. Get how to do it? I mean, I've always been pretty successful just saying, do the thing, and then it happened.
Is there?
You know?
There's not a spell in his book that you've used before, is there, Brine?
I mean, find familiar, I suppose.
You could try that.
I mean, that's a very warlock thing, to demand the weave to manifest itself to your will and just demand that it does the thing.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. We've done the charcoal circle before. I've already seen all of this. It might take me an hour, but who cares? We've tried this before, right? The wizard version can't be that different.
Edward is going to sift through a page. It's going to be a laminated page, sort of binded into the spine of the book. You can still see the old folded crease
Where
marks.
did you find lamination?
Hmm?
Where did you
We've been to
find
Port Zone.
lamination?
We've been to Port Zone.
Oh, true,
Yeah.
true. I guess. I suppose. Never
Aren't they run
mind.
by
I
bureaucrats?
retract my stats. Anyway. Brian's going to spend like the next hour setting up a Find Familiar. Alright, please work.
Just some of the more recent spells he hasn't laminated yet.
So you attempt to cast Find Familiar, and thoughts of Squishy come to mind. The playfulness, the company, the helping hand. What other thoughts do you have thinking of Squishy?
Squishy always reminded me of a little version of my patron. In that case, Ukatoa. I'm hoping that whatever comes out of this is decidedly alike Squishy in that it's representative of my patron and not like Squishy in that it is not like Ukatoa.
I see. With the circle made, you try to channel the magic inside of you, right? And who has the highest perception?
Edward, I think.
You're watching.
Plus
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, mine's 3.
You're watching. You're watching Ryan focus really hard on channeling magic. Like, this is not gonna work. Obviously, it's not going to work. And then from the stone floor, you see a little pebble kind of move. Just a small little pebble. Nothing else seems to be moving, but this tiny little pebble makes its way, seems to be making its way closer and closer to Brine.
Brian, did you just
Brine
See
is
that?
damn sure this is working. Don't distract me. I'm summoning a familiar. It's working, I swear. She's determined this has to
I
work.
think that's it. Squishy must be trapped inside of that tiny pebble.
What?
Moonzic stomps on.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Can I stone shape the pebble into a shape of a squishy? No, not actually. No, Prime.
Squishy's caught in a pebble?
No. Did you do
Where's
that?
the pebble?
That pebble, I could have sworn it just flipped itself over and slightly slid across the floor just now. Was that your doing? That certainly wasn't me.
Well, I'm the only one
I have.
casting a spell, but I didn't think that's how Find Familiar works. You're saying that Squishy is caught in the pebble, Moonzic?
And
No.
now, after being pointed out, you all see this pebble slowly meandering its way closer to Brine.
It's gotta be
Brian's
you. You
gonna-
don't happen to have...
Quite honestly, I was kidding. If that's what it is, I'll take up a degree in magic. But as of right now, it just looks like you have a pet rock.
I mean, I think a pet
I
rock would
tried
be
to cast Find
marginal
Familiar
value.
and I got a pet rock. Hi, Rocky.
Well, that seems like an uncreative, unoriginal name for a rock, don't you?
Looking
Shut
close
up. First
at-
it was Squishy, now he's Rocky.
Can I cast Identify on the rock?
I'm actually going to say just give it a second. Brine, you
Okay.
begin to look closer and closer at the little rock that is making its way towards you. And you see
Oh my god.
You see a little face, a little guy, a little thing with some arms. And actually you realize now that it wasn't actually the rock that was moving, it was something carrying the rock. And as you get down,
Funny.
you see a little Chowinga.
What? Which movie was that from?
That's from Totoro.
Twinkle?
The picture is from Totoro.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was one of the Miyazaki films.
Yeah. It was Quinn's profile pic.
Oh yeah. No. Quinn's was one of the
Who
dust
are you?
sprites.
You reach your hand out and you see it puts the rock in your hand and then kind of dances excitedly.
Brian's
Like a
gonna
Stardew
take a look
Junimo.
at the rock.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Brian's gonna take a look at the rock.
It appears to just be a little rock. Nothing fancy about it, but the Chowinga seems to be pleased. And as you hold on to the rock, it kind of does this sort of dance in front of you. And then
Would I know what a Chowinga is?
I don't know, you tell me.
Can we roll like an Arcana check or like a Nature check or something?
I'm rolling an Arcana. Da-da.
Ooh, 18.
That's pretty good.
Very nice.
18 is pretty good. I would say, yeah, you do know what a Chowinga is.
Yep.
A Chowinga.
Oh, rather
Chewinga, how
fair.
charming.
It's a cute little thing.
Because I actually already do know what a Chwinga is. I just didn't know whether my character would. I'm gonna go. Hey, buddy. You're a rather rare sight. What's up?
And it climbs on your hand. I assume that you offer it. It kind of climbs up there, joining the rock, holding it up, wiggling, and begins to kind of start to crawl up your arm.
Oh,
Sitting on your shoulder, this very tiny, really no larger than a pebble itself. A Chwinga being the tiny elemental spirit that finds itself in more natural aspects of the world, but are known to basically live anywhere. A small you feel a sweet smell of flowers emanating around you and this small elemental.
A charming little creature.
Yeah.
That was a pun. Nobody
This-
got that pun.
This. Yes, I got it. I'm just ignoring it.
maybe
It's rare for them to take this kind of liking to anybody.
perhaps this is the clue that you were asking for.
Hey,
He's-
buddy, do you think you could help me? I'm gonna ask the Chwinga.
Roll me a D100.
Ooh.
Ooh. Rolls a 100. Holy shit.
93.
93.
Pretty high.
Let me pull up.
That is pretty damn high. My line of reasoning is that there's plenty of Ioun stones that give innate enhancements around the world. The goddess Ioun has recently communed with you and has helped you out. Perhaps this little Chwinga, did you say? Perhaps it has some connection to Ioun.
If so, it might be able to help me with my research.
This certainly will help you with your research, as suddenly you can choose 3 cantrips, and for the next 7 days you know these cantrips and can cast them as if they're on your spell list.
Ooh.
So choose that's just how it is, you know? Choose 3
Eldritch Blast. The answer is
cantrips.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, Eldritch Blast.
That's so valid.
Eldritch-
That's so valid.
That's a cantrip.
Is it actually there?
Guidance, I think. And mending.
Okay.
Ending?
Yeah.
Did you say Eldritch Blast?
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Guidance, Eldritch Blast, and Mending are now added to your spell list, and for a week, they are yours.
That's cool. I was more looking for a direction, but that's pretty awesome. Do I
mean-
feel any sort of
It's not
mental
every day
connection?
where the gods themselves
like I
can
would
part the
with
clouds
a-
and deliver on the, a boon. I
Both
think
the-
this might be a sign.
Do you feel any sort
Um,
of mental connection? Yeah,
Like
You
I
can-
would to a familiar.
absolutely.
I think this is a sign.
I think this is a replacement for, or at least a version of a familiar. I can do a lot of the
I'm not
same
really
mental
sure about
things I
what-
could do with Squishy.
Oh, are you?
I mean, do you reckon
See through the
you
eyes.
reckon this could be a boon from? Do you reckon this could be a boon
Yeah.
from Ayun? Some
know
sort
what?
of, at least,
You
parting
know
gift
what?
in
I
affirmation to
think-
your, you know,
How do you two keep
Denied.
managing to talk over each other every single time?
I'm just excited. And he is too. I'm sure.
Do you plan on keeping the name
I
you had
think-
picked out originally, Rocky?
No, he is Squishy too now.
He's not squishy.
Squishy the rock.
What would you like to be called,
Squishy.
Chewinga? What would you like your name to be? Do you like Chewinga or Rocky? Squishy or Rocky? It's up to you.
Out of character, you tell me. I'm not naming your character for you. You like your familiar for you.
Oh my god.
Oh, I wanted it to dance at one of the options.
Okay. What option does it dance to?
Squishy.
Fine. Just because I want to avoid all of the jokes that come from naming it Rocky, even though it is totally a brand character to name it Rocky, it is Squishy too. Shortened to Squishy.
Its arms wiggle like its body is perfectly still, but its arms do the wave. And it's like really good at the wave.
You're describing a Junimon.
All right, you are
Yes.
Squishy.
I'm going to call it Tui.
Okay, Tui also works. I think it likes Tui just as well. I think I'm going to play off a hunch because you guys are saying that this is from Ayun. I'm going to head to the library, up to the top floor I'm allowed, and I'm going to see whether he's going to pick out some good books for me.
That's a good
You
thesis.
think this is like? You think this is like some sort of boon from Ayun, sort of Ayun guiding you in some capacity?
Well, it's certainly not a regular familiar. And it's the first magical thing that's pretty much occurred since we had that chat. And it feels right that Ayun would give instruction by giving
Ways meant
direction
be
to,
deciphered through thought.
well, by giving direction towards where I might find solutions, you know?
Well, let's test this hypothesis. I suppose we can make a brief trip to the library.
I don't think we're allowed to go as high as she is, though, so we might have to do something else.
I mean, it's a library. Like, that's the easiest place to entertain yourself in the entire world.
I suppose I suppose so.
Brine is
I
going
feel
to
like Brine would nod in agreement and
Put
Moonzic
on-
would roll his eyes.
Yeah, well, Brian completely agrees. Brian is going to put on all of the charm in the world to try and convince them that Edward is a necessary study partner.
All of the charm. Go ahead and roll me
Both the charm.
an advantage because it's the two of you, and this is a very serious endeavor, and you're very serious about this.
Nat 20.
All right. Advantage.
Nat 20, come on.
Persuasion.
No.
23.
23.
I would think
No.
that as somebody at the rank that you are, you would know that this is certainly unacceptable.
Look, I'm not trying to get him access to things that he doesn't have. He's not allowed to. I'm trying to get him access to the lower level books so that he can help develop my basis of understanding. I will not give him any access to the things of higher value. Okay? I just don't have a lot of alchemical knowledge, and he does.
I'm very sorry, Brine, but the rules are rules. It's meant to protect himself and you and the Cobalt Soul.
I understand. I certainly wasn't going to give him access to any tier 4 books.
If he would like
Let's
to,
do what research.
he can be on the main floor of the library with no issue.
Let's just
As was always his right.
start off them. Okay. I'm going to head up to the higher floors. I will leave the stuff up there, and I will be back down when there is a basic concept that I know you already know about. Is that okay?
Edward?
Yeah.
I assume I'm not breaking any rules by doing that.
Basic concepts, certainly not. Somebody of your standing, I'm sure, is aware of the danger of higher levels of knowledge being shared. You see that the Charles.
His name is Charles.
Yes, his name is Charles.
Yes,
Charles says, as I'm sure someone of your standing is aware of the dangers of those possessing knowledge who wish to do harm.
Of course.
And
She's gonna head up
Good luck, Brine.
to the 4th level, and thank you. And she's going to kind of go back to the same book she was going to before, very based off warlock stuff and previous packs, and lots of dark subject matter, but that hasn't really been helping her. And she's gonna set Tui, because I actually really like Tui as a name. Tui on the.
This is what we're naming the
on
Chewinga
the
now,
ground,
Tui?
Short for Squishy
Official
Tooth.
name?
Yeah.
Squishy
Yeah,
it's
Tooth.
short for Squishy Tooth. But it's Tui.
Setting Tui out. It does not take Tui long to start assisting you in the gathering of books and knowledge. Some of the books that Tui brings seem out of what you would normally grab, things that don't have anything to do with warlocks or powers or things like that, but still are incredibly informative in basic, like books on plants and minerals. And yes, there are some things that Tui has brought you that are more in the same line as warlock, but most of them seem to be building a sort of repertoire as you're sitting here and studying. And you find no end of interesting no end of interesting knowledge, if that makes sense.
Brine's gonna start writing out her own book of things that she thinks could help as this is happening. She's gonna transcribe a find familiar spell in there. Transcribe down a few cantrips, like message and shape water. A few rituals like detect magic. Things, just kind of going through the setup of just writing down things to figure them out.
Less frequently than you thought you would, you find yourself coming back down to Edward, explaining some stuff, and mostly just eager to get back to it. And over the course of a couple of weeks of just studying,
I no
and
longer have that trips.
yeah, sorry.
Guidance was super helpful.
Guidance was super helpful. Everything. Mending was helpful for that one time that you accidentally
Ripped a
Well,
page.
yeah, ripped a page.
Hastily
knowledge,
casting
anyone?
mending.
That's Brian just like,
Borrowed knowledge?
shit.
Borrowed knowledge?
This button book is worth more
You could,
than my entire
you could
tuition
up
was.
that borrowed knowledge.
I could. I didn't, but I could.
What rip? There was no rip.
And you find yourself having much faster than you had originally expected, becoming fairly competent.
Hey guys, I think I figured out from this one book how to brew healing potions. I think it's really cool. Still haven't figured out how to get warlock powers back and all of that, but I'm starting to get pretty good at the potion stuff. Not sure why I was supposed to learn potions or all of that, but I'm getting pretty good. Thank you, Edward, for all of that help with that one specifically.
I mean, I don't know. Ayun works in mysterious ways. I don't think that all you're doing... I don't think that whatever it is that you're doing is all for naught. I think there is supposed to be some sort of lesson here to be learned. I mean, you can't be a god of knowledge without bestowing cryptic lessons in about every crevice and corner of your followers' lives, at least.
No. There was a whole book I was given on magical items and infusing them. I'm not sure why I had to know that one either, but it was interesting. Hey, you want me to show you something? Moonzic, come here. Come here.
What?
Which knife do you like best?
Say again?
Pick knife that you like best.
Oh, probably Grudge.
Choose knife. Watch this.
Ooh.
She grabs Grudge from you.
Hold on. Be careful with that.
Starts writing on it in ink, in permanent ink.
Don't.
Slaps a gemstone in the hilt.
Don't. As Moonzic's just like, don't ruin the inscriptions on the blade.
She casts Firebolt on it.
Okay.
Okay, now you're
Fast
just
mending
trying to
after.
piss me off.
Steering the ink into it.
I think this is like some sort of tasteless handling of...
Here. It's still slightly warm. Throw it at something.
We're in a library, Brine.
We're in a
Fine,
library,
go up.
Brian. I cast
I
Mage
can
Hand.
throw it at something.
I cast Mage Hand. Throw it at that.
Go outside the library and then throw it at somebody. I don't... Something, not somebody, jeez. I don't want somebody to get the wrong idea.
Is it that mage hand, Edward?
Yeah, throw it at the mage hand, by all means.
As Moonzic's looking around, like, making sure nobody's watching him as he does this. And he, with a lot of, steady breathing and concentration, he throws it. Do you need...
It appears back in your hand.
I was going to say, do you need me to make a roll at all?
No, you're competent enough.
All right.
You can hit a willing target.
Yeah.
It appears back in your hand as soon as it hits.
What? Oh my. Oh.
See? That's the returning weapon. I also made this this little cape here that I've been wearing. It's been keeping me up for the last 4 days straight. Every time I get tired, zap right into my neck. Keeps me up.
That sounds painful and horrible. Why would you subject yourself to that?
That sounds
you're an elf.
Because it keeps my concentration up so I can continue studying.
That sounds like something I read out of a comic once. It was Professor Weird.
The point is I haven't had to try it in 4 days and it's been great. She looks wired. Chewie looks concerned for her health.
With this returning
you
weapon...
see Chewie on her shoulder pats down some of the frazzled hair. Actually, I like to think of Chewie sitting there on your shoulder, braiding like a couple of strands.
This returning weapon, is this a permanent thing?
Yes.
Ooh.
Until the infusion is dismissed, if she wants to make another infusion, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like she has a limit of like certain number of infusions depending on her artificer level, right?
Have a limit of 2
she can dismiss any of them at will.
And probably forever.
Yeah. Otherwise it's permanent. Or until she dies.
Anyway.
Do you realize how much of a game changer this is?
Well, I figured if I was going to have to learn something I wasn't super interested in, that I should at least make it super useful. And then I got really interested in it, so I learned all the other ones.
Yep. I mean, that's
what
some
are you
good life
both
advice,
looking at
though.
me like that for?
I mean,
Anyway,
that's good life advice, I guess.
Unfortunately, this thing is out of charges, so I have to... Anyway. I have to trans tonight, at least, because this thing is out of charges. But I'm sure I'll figure something out. Sure, there's a reason. And she just kind of starts... As she's thinking about that, as she's realizing she's going to have to take a rest at some point, you can see her just slump over onto the table.
Does she fall asleep?
No, she's an elf.
She's an elf. But about as deep as an elf can go into her trance. She's out. About as deep as an elf can go.
Oh boy. Well,
do you think we should probably, carry her out of here to, somewhere more appropriate for...
Moonzic's already fireman carrying her. Way ahead of you.
Okay, good.
As he transforms into Cheem Liam on the way out.
Carrying an extra book.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to think that Brine is holding a book in her hands despite being in trance.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the ones she's allowed to take down to the first level, right?
Yeah, it's like a death grip on it.
So it's not like anything. It's one of the first level books, obviously, because she's down with you guys. But Death grip onto it, half red.
Don't worry, everybody. She's still very much alive. Just did a little too much studying. Of course.
Yeah.
Brine, in your trance state, you feel a rocking motion as you're being carried, and that shifts from rocking to swaying to feeling like you're on a boat on an ocean.
Uh-oh.
You find yourself not drowning in the depths like you have before in this sort of state, but rather completely alone, floating on top. There are no stars in this sky. Simply the inky black darkness meeting the slightly inkier black darkness below. Muffled, you hear, not echoing through your bones as you had before, but rather off in the distance. Ma.
No.
Mine. It's like increasing in frequency, no longer just being a single statement, but claiming. But it's far away. The voice of Ukatoa.
How different you sound from the bottom of the sea, far away. Almost pathetic. How are you so often? She's rubbing her neck where her scar is. Why give me power and why? I don't understand. At the beginning, I had no intention of doing anything but what you had asked for saving me. But you were always so insistent, without really telling me what you wanted. For what it's worth, I don't hate you. I've got a
As
different path
oh,
now.
go ahead, please.
But I've got a different path now. I'm not sure what power still lies in me from what you gave me, but from what I've read, I don't think it can be taken away so easily. This might piss you off even more. But if I still own that power, and it is mine and mine alone, without the strings, I do intend to use it.
You hear the distant mine, gaining fainter and fainter.
I know you'll come for me eventually. Till then, goodbye, old friend.
And as you turn around in your dream, you wake up at the tavern that you've all been staying in Nicodranus, tucked into bed.
How long did I sleep? Friends, what the... 6 hours? Ridiculously long!
And she's just coming to this realization after being, like, slumped in her bed, and us just kind of like, we've just hung out, or we've gone about our own business.
Alright, what next?
We probably should stay in with her.
The dream reminds you of something. That just because your new pack has transformed things, that doesn't mean that Ukatoa isn't there. Ukatoa's power is still present within you. At least you remember what it's like to feel it, to reach out for it. It takes a little bit more effort, but you think you still can, with a different approach. More of a memory, less of a willing it to happen. The way the magic feels.
Ron's gonna try.
What do you try?
What else? Eldritch Blast.
What does your Eldritch Blast look like?
I think she fails her first attempt. Even if it does come out, I think she messes it up first.
Describe it to me. Tell me how this
Infantile
goes.
dysfunction.
She's gonna try and remember. And she's just targeting, the chair in the corner of the room, not expecting it to work. She's tried to cast this a million times, right? And with the thought of that great sea still within her, less violent than she remembers it being, this time underneath a black, starless sky. When she casts Eldritch Blast, she shoots water at it, like a water gun, soaking it in water.
Huh.
Realizing very quickly that she accidentally cast Control Water instead. Refocusing, She's gonna try and call upon two subsides of this. Both what Eldritch Blast is as a spell, and the knowledge she's gained by reading about it, and how it felt to cast it. And this time, two bolts fly out. One, dark energy like it used to be. The other one, bright white. Both smacking for the same kind of damage, for the same effect, destroying the chair in the corner of the room.
I don't think you're going to be able to use mending on that.
No.
Yeah,
Mending will totally work. She starts casting mending. She starts casting mending. It does not go well.
You know we have to pay for that chair, right? We don't
No,
technically
I'm mending it. I'm mending it right now.
This isn't a problem mending can solve. This isn't a problem mending can solve.
Look, it stands up now. It's got three. It's got three.
Tui hands you a leg. Yeah.
As the three legs are like,
I forgot that leg. Mends it on. It's no longer stable.
I was gonna say, as the three legs are like misaligned and also like varying in length.
Yeah, exactly. So good enough. She throws a blanket on top of it.
That's quite the odd
That's
project.
what we got here. Anyway, I think I figured something out.
How to
I wonder
destroy.
if I can do a tentacle thing. She's going to try and summon the tentacle of the deeps.
Tell us what happens.
The tentacle appears, but this time it is full of bright starlight, looking less like a deep sea tentacle and more like the tentacle has been infused with outer space. Not sure why it looks like that, but I think this is working. You guys might have your warlock back.
All right.
She's gonna try and cast.
Oh.
She's gonna go back to Firewatch specifically to get a wide open area, and she's gonna try and cast her most powerful spell, Sickening Radiance. And nothing's gonna happen. Well, I think we have some questions about how much I can do. I'm not sure I can breathe underwater. I'm not sure I want to test it.
I mean, it's not like we have to go too deep in the water to
in
test
itself.
that theory.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know,
True.
we can spend all day testing whether or not that theory holds water, but I think, at least in itself, it's something to be celebrated for. That at least you don't have to worry about, you know, being completely powerless for the time being. We can at least resume with some semblance of normalcy with how we want to approach our misadventures, I would like to say.
Oh, come on. She wouldn't have been completely powerless.
I mean, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I'm not really
Brine
worried
is
about
going
being
to
powerless.
take the rest of the
It
day.
would feel-
Brine is going to take the rest of the day figuring out exactly where she stands as a warlock and as
doing it for science.
artificer, figuring out what spells she can. cast, what she can't, what she can figure out. I'd say it takes her a few days before she gets back up to being able to cast things like Hunger of Fadar and Hypnotic Pattern. But as soon as she kind of hits that threshold, she just cannot get further. She's figured out how to use that notebook she's been using kind of as a pact of the tongue, as she was before, to be able to still cast plenty of ritual spells and extra cantrips. And yeah, she's going to start a project at this point. There's this concept that I've been reading about. I think it's important from where I found those infusions that I was reading about. It's this idea of a two-way sending that you can put inside a tome. And
Ascending tome?
when you write in it, you can write back and forth between people. I've been reading about it. It's highly theoretical. And there's only a few matching proofs. There's some warlocks who manage to get it as a boon, but anything you can get as a boon, you're most likely able to get as a magical item or there's some wizarding way of doing it.
Interesting.
So I wanted to work with you guys, since I think this would help us out with communicating with everybody else in our party, especially since they just went into the dungeon underneath the light.
Do we know about that?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd assume they said goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Might be helpful. Edward, would you work with me on this?
Oh, I would be fascinated. This is at least some sort of topic of contention with a lot of wizards on the specific natures of how interactivity with objects and their inertness, how even though they lack a will, they can interact with the weave in some capacity, right? Bringing into question whether or not, retained objects have some semblance of pseudo-sentience. This is an exciting prospect.
I may have something to add to this project that gives it some credence. You two know of my contact in Corel, Tai, correct?
Yeah.
She is able to communicate with me. I'm not entirely sure how, but we're able to commune to each other. It's almost like she taps into my thoughts, and I'm able to send them to her, and she's able to send back almost instantaneously, like a conversation. I have no idea how she does it, but
I mean, do you think you've been laced with some sort of enchantment or some sort of spell?
I do have the Mask of Many Faces, but I don't think there's anything beyond that. Unless there was something in the fine print that I didn't read.
And with that thought, you do have a slight flash of a memory of one of the underground's more magical people. If you remember, there was the person who bestowed the Mask of Many Faces to you. You never really thought about it too hard before, but upon doing that, that same tingling, almost electric feeling in the back of your head happened when you received the gift of Mask of Many Faces as as it felt when talking to Ty in that sort of way. That you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it was. You probably wouldn't have ever thought about it again until right this moment.
Well, actually, the same sensation I get when she's trying to communicate with me, I kind of sort of remember when I was first given this kind of power. Huh. Just thought about that.
I mean, it's always hidden in fine print.
I've never really tried to do it actively because, well, if I would assume the only person I can communicate with would be Ty and the person who gave me this power himself, or themself. But I don't want to try it and try and communicate with Ty unless she communicates with me first, because that could just be disastrous.
Makes sense.
I think the reason extends beyond cordial etiquette, I presume.
Well, she is working closely with my brother.
I do suppose that does put her in some jeopardy of scrutiny.
Quite. But she's keeping me up to date as she can, but things are becoming, well, deplorable would be an understatement. And it's becoming harder for her to find an opportunity to communicate.
Even if such a thing were possible, such a spell being available to anybody would have already revolutionized how we do contacting in this world.
Well,
so we can safely assume it
I mean,
doesn't
I'm worried
exist
about the security ramifications.
well,
of
I suppose it probably has something to do. Maybe not necessarily. Speaking separately of this gift I have, it is possible to, I would imagine, to infuse magic with certain mechanical items. Oncorel specializes in machines and science, if you will, like that. Maybe some sort of... I'm not entirely sure.
well, fairly soon we have to head into the Dundalian Empire, right?
If what you were saying about what Ayun told you is correct.
Yeah. As we're doing that, we should continue this research.
I agree. And I would be happy to help any way I can. I'm not learned in any magic or alchemical science or anything of that sort, but I'd be willing to test mechanics if I'm able.
And with that, you all have a goal in mind, a destination, and a little bit of downtime to get yourselves prepared for your journey. It's in this downtime that you all are presumably at Firewatch Island. Getting yourself acquainted with your griffins. Tell me, what are you doing with each of your griffins? What are their names? Just give them a little bit of a description, things like that.
I've thought about this. Everybody knows that I have decided to name my griffin Peter. I'm not changing on that.
We all hate you for it.
I'm funny.
I love it, so fuck off. He is more rotund than the other two, but he is still quite the capable flyer. He's a bit of a lovable, kind of playful griffin. I more or less kind of test my dexterity with him as he's chasing me around, or maybe I chase him around. And whenever we're all done, I like to give him a good pat down and pet him and rub his belly.
Cool.
It's kind of building
Edward?
a bond with him.
Yeah. How do you spend your time with your griffin?
Okay, I believe you gave me an amulet that can allow me to speak with animals, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Edward is going to have cordial conversations with the griffin.
If any animal were to have a cordial
mostly
conversation, it
one-sided.
would be a griffin.
It's mostly one-sided. Like, Edward is saying, like, how are you finding the environment around here? Do you think it is suitable to your liking? How are you finding the meals? And then the griffin's just going to respond, like,
Good.
yeah.
Oh, no,
No,
yeah.
I
she's
like
gonna
your
respond
funny words, Magic Man.
No,
Can
he's
I-
gonna be like,
Can I
"Oh, I like that
ad-lib
time when
something?
you-"
Oh no.
Can I ad-lib something that
Oh,
might
what is it?
break some rules?
What is it?
Brine
If
at
it's funny,
some point during her research found a speak with animals thing that she managed to try out and cast, and she's just gonna ask Edward's Griffin. Has he started annoying you yet?
I don't even think that you would need speak with animals to pose that question. I
it's
think you can.
mostly a one-sided conversation.
I will say that, like, you're bonding with your griffin, and yes, it may be a bit of a one-sided conversation. It is still a conversation that your griffin partakes in. I'm just gonna give your griffin a voice. I find the conditions amicable.
Hi, you are.
Oh boy.
Man, you are incredibly eloquent relative to the other griffin brethren of your particular litter. Any particular reason as to your, intellectual fortitude relative to your siblings over there? I find it a most curious, pressing topic.
As you flash your attention over to Peter for a split second, all you hear is hee.
Both you and your griffin make eye contact again. Selective breeding.
Oh. I mean, did I touch upon some sort of uncomfortable topic regarding your parents?
No, you did not. No, you did not. Over on the other side is Brine speaking, or not? Maybe not speaking. What are you doing with your griffin? Oh, actually, hold on. What did you name your griffin?
Edward.
I'm really struggling with that one.
Well, while you're thinking of that, Edward, what did you name your griffin? Actually,
Oh no.
what did the griffin tell you his name was?
Oh.
It looks. Yeah, that's a good question. He looks like somebody that would be named like Eustace.
Eustace.
Eustace?
That's a great
Yep,
name.
Eustace.
That's it. I'm getting me mallet.
So
He looks like a Eustace.
Mr. Griffin tells you his name is Eustace. You didn't name him. He that was his.
Was that a particular name that you bestowed upon yourself, or was it a previous handler that had the opportunity to bestow said name?
I like the way it sounds more than anything.
Ah, an eloquent name befitting of a majestic bird.
Feathers are ruffled in the best of ways.
Brine has gotten sad at not getting to be around Nahiri and her wonderfully named horse. So of course her griffin is now Thunderbeak von Oppenheimer, Destroyer of Worlds.
What the fuck?
Thunderbeak von Oppenheimer.
Excuse me?
Destroyer of Worlds.
Thunderbeak von. I love that.
Yes.
Thunderbeak von Oppenheimer.
Yes, we have Peter, Eustace, and
Yes,
Thunderbeak
Peter.
von Oppenheimer, the Destroyer of Worlds.
I love it. I love it. How are you bonding with your griffin?
Mostly by taking it out on hunting trips, where I'm practicing casting Eldritch Blast at will, and sniping birds out of the air, and he's practicing grabbing them as they fall.
Nice.
Until we become this duo of death worthy of his name.
Then Brine multi-classes into Ranger. For my third multi-class.
For my third
You know what, screw it,
multi-class!
we're gonna dip one level in
I
every
shall be a
class.
sorcerer ranger wizard. I am
We're
a
dipping
artificial
one level in
warlock
every
sorcerer
class. That's
ranger.
what we're doing.
Yep.
We're dipping a level in every class. That's it.
And I'm a rogue. That's it, just
Except
a rogue.
barbarian. Fuck barbarian.
That's it. That's all I am, just a rogue.
Be
No, you take Barbarian
aware
at the
that
first
the
level to get the D12 hit die and the...
Nah. I don't have
and
the
the
strength for it.
construct proficiency.
Yeah. I hear you. No. Everybody gangster till I take one level dip in Peace Clutter.
A couple of things happen over the course of the downtime. One, Moonzic, in your roamings throughout the city, you hear word of a round of thieveries that have been increasing. If not small little like pickpockets, but rather
purses, right?
Yet not pickpockets and cut purses, rather valuable objects and large sums of money disappearing without a trace. In Edward, what is the first thing that you create?
What do you mean? You mean with the book?
From the Canon of Changes. What's the first thing?
Edward is going to sort of spend like several days locked in the tower. You know, as you typically do. Like Brine did the crunch in the library. Edward does this in the tower with his book. You know, like they're not going to hear from him. They just assume he's like doing his own thing in the secluded spire inside of Firewatch Island. Eventually Moonzic comes in to do like a little wellness check. He's gonna open the door. Right? He's gonna see Edward, literally poking out of like, a chair. Half the furniture in the room is partially vitrified and like fused into the wall. You can see random shapes of stone, sort of almost contorted in unnatural and bent structures. Individual bricks just completely missing from the tower as, like random, like odd oblong, irregular shapes litter the room. This random stone here has been shaped with particular, particular care and has been, like, fashioned into a giant duck for some reason. You can see Edward, like staring at this duck, with, like, a keen, astute eye, trying to, like, shape it in with some sort of artistic channeling. At the same time, like literally the walls have been turned half into glass and like, other random like, papers and stuff have been strewn about with like pebbles and sand, like in weird crevices that you wouldn't expect it to be. Like random nooks and crannies and cracks sticking out of the ceiling. There's just sand leaking down from the ceiling for some reason.
Either I'm just in time
Edward.
or I'm too late.
No. You're just in time. Look at this duck. He's gonna hold up a stone duck made out. You can see the edges and grooves from the brick. Taken directly out of the wall.
As the duck shows up.
Like she's just rounding the corner.
Nice duck.
Yeah.
I know, right? Look at this duck. I made it myself.
It's gorgeous. I love it.
Look at it.
So what's its
he's gonna
purpose?
pass over the duck. He's gonna pass over the duck to you, and immediately as you as he lets go of the duck, you can feel the entire weight of a giant stone slab come down
Brine
upon you
drops it
as like
immediately.
you realize. Isn't this such a nice duck?
It
Yes.
was gorgeous. She says, picking up
I know.
two broken halves and desperately casting mending.
Oh.
Look, it was heavy.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No.
It'll
It's
be
fine.
perfect,
I
I
can make
swear.
another one. You see that book that we dug out, right? From that pile of loot that we kind of distributed. As it turns out, it actually holds untold secrets to stone transmutation.
Ooh.
Interesting.
So we can
And
turn our
transmutation
enemies
among
into
all
duck.
other methods. You're gonna have to ignore the whole leaking sand from my ceiling. That was a random botched experiment. I'll have that fixed up. You
Oh, I
don't need to send
completely
somebody
understand.
over.
Oh, I completely understand. You should see my room. In fact, I was
Right.
actually going to ask you, does anybody have a hammer and nails? I kind of blew off my door.
Mending cantrip.
I'll go get one. I'll be right back.
Mending, it doesn't do well with doors. It tends to fuse the wall, you know?
I mean, fair enough. You could just mend the hinges, though. That fits under the small parameters of mending.
Yeah! I mean, I mended the door frame.
I like to
Yeah.
imagine in the course of time it takes for you to have this extensive conversation, Moonzic's already repaired the door.
Admiring the craftsmanship of the of the duck.
Thank you, Moonzic.
Of course.
I don't suppose that this duck is any more useful than an actual mason's brick, though. I might actually have to just get another brick and fill in that hole in the wall that I pulled out and turned into a duck.
Oh, no, shove the duck up there and then use the transmutation thingy, right?
Yeah, but then I'd have to get rid of the duck.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's absolutely out of
This
the
duck
question.
took 6 hours for me to mold.
6
Like,
hours.
why?
I mean, the canon of changes is one of great boundless secrets, and it is also written by a knowledge-stingy wizard that was not care, that did not care much to freely share said boundless knowledge. I mean, this duck was a culmination of insights and understandings into a book well, into a fossilized memory of a person who happened to know a little bit more about transmutation than the average wizard.
Hmm. So what is this potion then? She pulls out a potion.
Potion.
This one. You said you could change any matter. Could you change this potion to another potion?
You can change the bottle into a duck.
Edward can only make ducks.
I think
You don't
he's...
want to change the bottle into a duck. Ooh, would you be able to keep the liquid in as you did that?
Why am I here?
Can I change the potion bottle into a duck-shaped potion bottle?
Yeah, go for it. I love it.
Without losing the liquid.
I'm gonna cast Fabricate, and like with a gentle caress, you can see him shape like the edges of like this smooth round potion flask into like a sharper curve, and then you can see him pinch out the beak at the front, and just like that, he shapes the potion with the potion still contained inside of the bottle into a duck-shaped bottle.
So you can do fancy balloon animal tricks.
What we're saying is we can have the best bottling process in all the land for our wine.
Imagine this though, like I can change the bottle that we sell our, up and coming Anabath wine, and we can change it into a devil's skull with horns protruding out of it.
Ooh.
No, into ducks. Into ducks. Only into ducks.
That might confuse the buyer, though.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't.
A skull-shaped wine bottle? I hardly think that's a confusing process, and if anything, I think it's more ostensibly a show of decadence and.
It looks like poison, Edward.
Yeah, but doesn't that still add to the allure?
No, it does not add to the allure of people wanting to drink it.
What, a skull with horns coming out of it?
What I'm
Potion
saying is
bottle
our
in the shape of a
glass
skull?
quality could be higher than anybody else's, perfectly clear, so that the wine got to sparkle in the light.
Actually,
No misshapen bottles.
I mean, I can change the entire thing into a kaleidoscopic, pattern that allows it to refract light in different angles. Same liquid contained inside, but in different shades of color, depending on the angle you look at it.
That sounds brilliant for white wine.
Actually, there's one thing I've been wanting to try out. Edward, do you mind if I ascend and go into the bell, like into the top part of the tower?
Of course. You might want to be careful, though. The ground is a little bit unstable, given the sand leaking from the ceiling. And the fact that, the ceiling partially turned into sand.
Right. Anyway.
So yeah, you make your way up to the bell tower with no bell.
Just, yeah, the apex of the tower. And he's gonna look over at the mountain before him. He's gonna test out the decanter of endless water. And he's gonna uncork it and aim it at a few rocks that are on that are just on this little clifflet, like right here. He's gonna aim the decanter and he's gonna call out, "Geyser!" And I'm just doing this more or less to test this out because I just threw it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you like a torrent of water comes out of the decanter, soaking the cliff face, and indeed moving several rocks.
Like they hit
Brine
like
is
a slight
accidentally gonna
incline
walk me
behind
in
it and they
front
go
of the face.
flying up.
So are you aiming it up in the air to like produce a rain, or are you aiming it at?
I'm aiming it at the rocks and basically like pushing them around, like taking advantage of the force it produces to, I guess,
Clean some of the bird shit.
Sure, let's go with that.
I do have a question. Reading that text,
Uh-huh.
what would happen if, say, an enemy was behind a table, and you targeted Geyser at a table to knock the table 15 feet backwards? What would happen to the enemy? Would it get moved with the table?
Probably knocked prone.
Like the table
Ooh,
would,
that's really good.
like the table would go flying. It would knock the person behind the table or under the table prone, at least. Yeah.
I mean, I would say that, like, included in your damage and strength save, I would say is probably, like, I would say included in the strength save for that would be, like, to do damage.
Yeah.
But I'm not
Right.
certainly not, like, if you need to keep an enemy, like, down and not, like...
I'm more talking about the second paragraph, where it says
Right,
instead of a creature, you can target an object that isn't being worn or carried and that weighs no more than 200
Right,
pounds,
but
right?
you would still be, like, targeted. Yes. So, yes. You put the endless decanter, the decanter of endless water at the table, pushing up against the person standing on the other side. The person on the other side would have to make a strength saving throw.
Okay.
And yeah, they would have to, as if the water was to them, but it's really good flavor. And I could absolutely see, even if they were successful, that pinning them in place, right?
Ooh.
Or
I
knocking
was
them
more
prone.
trying to think of, like, removing. One of the cool things about this is because it specifically says how it interacts with objects, you can remove cover, right?
Right,
People
if
using
they're
like a knocked
hiding
over
behind,
table for cover.
yeah, if
Yeah.
they're hiding behind a knocked over table, you want to move it out of the way. Yes. Sorry, I just thought you were talking about, like, a table in front of somebody, and then
Table.
the pusher
Oh
of the
yeah,
table.
yeah,
And the push of the table,
yeah. That
that's
makes
just
sense. No, I'm
But if you
right.
need to remove the cover for somebody who's, say, hiding behind a table, yeah, absolutely. That's strongly
Yeah, my
specified.
question was if the person hiding behind it, like, basically could prevent it from being moved, right?
On the
They would
Because
then,
they
if the
still take
person
up
behind it,
space.
on the flip side
if
of that,
the person is behind it, then they would have to make the strength saving throw.
Gotcha.
on the flip
Okay.
side of that,
Thank you. Sorry.
On the flip side of that, I could also hide behind said table if I wanted to, and hold an action. And if someone were to come close enough,
Launch
I
a
could
table at
launch.
somebody.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a scenario where I could definitely see them having to make a dexterity saving throw to not be knocked prone.
It's really
right?
Yeah.
You
Be
just
careful, they have
So-
secret powers.
Moon...
Yeah, like the magic spells they keep on casting? No, they can chuck tables.
Oh no! Our table! It's broken! Oh my, how the tables have turned.
Oh my god.
Table flip.
Okay.
I cast table flip.
Brine, in your studying, Professor Namorn approaches you in one of your many hours at the library, and says, Brine, can I speak with you?
I'm needing to talk with you and the historians as well.
Let's go for a walk.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
This dusty library, says the smirk.
It's not dusty. It's wonderful. She's looking around.
This a mere metaphor. You look like you could use some sun.
Ouch.
So she
Okay.
the two of you go out and take a walk around the campus. And there's like there's a coolness in the air. It is fall. Or at least soon will be. And I know that you have been studying extensively. I take it Ayun has pointed you in the right direction.
In a roundabout method, yes. She pats Tui on the head.
Is that a chewinga?
I believe so. Could be any small elemental sprite, to be honest. They're pretty hard to tell apart from each other, but my bet is yes. Behavior is consistent. And it seems to be acting as my familiar, which is odd for such a creature, but my guess is this is Ayun's work.
It is not unheard of for a chewinga to be to act as a familiar, but it is certainly rare. With that being said, I do have a little something of urgency, I should say. A dear friend of mine, Mateo. He is a merchant that often deals in with the cobalt soul. His daughter has been taken. He sent to the cobalt soul to find a set of capable adventurers to help him when his daughters return. I think it would serve you well to spend a little bit of time out of the library.
Not that I could help out the Kobold Soul, given how much they've helped me.
Gives you a smile. Wonderful. I will say that I'm very proud of you. And as much as I want you to stay here and be safe, I liked the light in your eyes as you were telling me all about your adventures, and I wish you to have more. And with please.
I should tell you. Me and my friends, we've been almost as a side project to all of this, if I recognize how audacious that sounds. We have been trying to figure out the problem of the sending tone. I'm sure you're familiar, but the idea of how to essentially manufacture the warlock invocation that allows you to cast sending back and forth between trusted partners. I'm hoping that either before we leave or shortly after, we'll figure out something to, at least the first part of it, to be able to write in the names of you and a few of my friends here so that we can have two-way communication when we figure it out. Do you have any ideas to a solution there? Please let me know.
I may have a couple of ideas. But I will need time. And unfortunately this, and she hands you a letter, cannot wait.
Of course not.
It's your tuition.
I'm in even more debt.
Oh, hell.
When you come back, and you will come back, kind of gives you a smile. We'll see what can't be done, what I can't provide for you.
Thank you so much, yet again. And, well, I'll just tell them myself when I get back. I need to apologize to Barkley for not helping him out with his studies. He was really stressed about that, and it's been like almost a month.
I don't think that boy does anything other than stress.
That's not true. He gets a little wild when he drinks.
That does not sound like him at all.
You haven't seen him drink.
Maybe one day.
Brian's going to open the letter.
And the letter invites you to a town east of Nicodranus. A manor, not a town. A manor east of Nicodranus that is kind of begins its way toward the Wyoon Gorge.
I guess I'll figure out whatever we need to do there. As you said, I don't exactly have much time. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Professor
I have to go
Nemorn.
tell my friends about this.
Professor Nemorn pauses, crosses their arms, and watches you walk away with a faint smile on their face.
She breaks out into a full-born sprint the instant Nemorn's out of earshot. She's been trying to appear calm, cool, and collected, but she's like, we've got a quest, we've got a quest, we've got a quest. I need to try out all my cool stuff.
Okay.
Edward!
Us? What is it?
Or actually, what are your disguise right now?
As of this moment, it'll be Chim Liam.
We gotta go.
What are we doing?
Peter and Eurystices and
Eurystices.
Eurystices?
Euclidus. Oh, I can't pronounce his name.
I think she's talking about
Where
Eustace.
are we going?
Eustace, that's right.
Where are we
Thank
going?
you. We're going to this
Eustace.
manor. I'm the big von Oppenheimer destroying the world! Let me!
She's there. He's to your side before you even finish saying his name.
We have to go as fast as possible to the horizon!
And as they
I love
take
it.
off, Moonzic will actually change form again. This time to one that a lot of the party hasn't seen yet. But if you're about to end things off, we'll get into that next time then.
I did.
You can't just
If it's
tell us you
okay
change
with
into a form that we're not going to know.
If it's okay with you, I would like to start things. Just a
Sure.
little.
Sure.
Yeah,
Just at the dungeon's doorstep.
I was doing
I'll
my
roll my
thing
important dice.
to kind of give you a place to end it if you wanted to.
I do kind of want just a little, just to start.
Just a
Because I
little.
want to.
Just a little bit more?
Just a little. Just a
Yeah,
little bit.
absolutely.
Sure.
Brine is going to tell them that it's a rescue mission and the whole thing about thing after they're on the Griffins moving.
Okay.
This form that Moonzic has is one that at least Brine has seen before. It is Fernando Suarez. A bit of a sweet talker, younger gentleman. But it's still clearly Moonzic, putting on a different personality.
How do you do, Fernando? Long time since I've seen you.
Indeed, mademoiselle.
And fully clothed.
God.
What are you talking about?
And fully clothed.
Fine.
I feel like you're always undressing.
Oh, please. You think I give myself in so easily?
Yes, absolutely.
To every pretty girl you meet, do you dare insult me just because of my newly scarred appearance? She's clearly teasing you as much as you can.
Okay. You all land in front of a large manor. Parking your griffins. The merchant.
It's okay, destroyer of worlds.
The merchant, Mateo Finch, sits. Ooh, that was different. Sits behind a polished mahogany desk in front of you. You see that the wall behind him is flanked with stocked bookshelves, and there's a crackling hearth in the corner. You see his brow is furrowed in a look of concern that has persisted since the moment that you first met him. Thank you for taking the time, he says. I will not waste it. My daughter, Isla, has been taken by the vile vile troll known as Maw. I will take her back. I need your help to do so. As we speak, sorry, I thought I was gonna pause. Please.
I was gonna say, what will you have us do?
My scouts are currently searching the gorge for Maw's lair, and I need you, as the most capable adventurers that the Cobalt Soul has to offer, ready, on standby, so that the moment that we hear word of the lair's location,
you can set off and rescue her. The Cobalt Soul has told me at length about you all, the Legati Company, and your reputation precedes you.
Whether it be a
You may name
pretty,
your price.
whether
Sorry,
it
go
be a
ahead.
pretty lady or a brawl, the Legati Company is always ready for a fight. It's always
Wonderful. You may name your price.
Don't fight the pretty lady.
ready.
I don't know if you heard me.
Yeah.
No,
Brian's gonna step forward. We shall not name our price. We shall save your daughter first. Then we shall come back. And we shall negotiate, based off the difficulty of what we went through, a fair price. Or is there something a simple common soldier could do? You will pay us no more than a common soldier. If this is more than we can do, you will not pay us at all. And when we bring her back, we will have a discussion about how you could help us help more people in the future.
I would expect nothing less from the likes of you. That is incredibly noble. Isla, my daughter. I'll tell you what I can. She was captured. And I want to make it very clear. She was captured while traveling on a road as a part of one of my caravans. A contingent of armed and experienced guards was not enough to repel this troll from taking her. I will say, though, if you think this is some sort of damsel in distress situation, you would be mistaken.
Ah, damn, you read me like a book.
Isla is exceptionally willful, and honestly, if they thought that they were kidnapping a wilted flower, they have already now know their miscalculation. Her temperament has proven too much for many suitors.
Is she skilled at all?
Indeed. I had her take classes of the blade myself.
What kind
Good.
of blades is she proficient in?
The rapier.
Ah. If she does not have one on hand, she can have the one that I have.
I'm sure she would be delighted to hear that. She
First order
is-
of business is, what circumstances are we waiting for in order to deploy, or at least, to initiate our rescue?
And with that,
One,
all...
I have one question first.
Oh, please,
This is
go ahead.
very important. If I may, did she have anything distinguishable? Anything that we could use to track her via magical means? A family heirloom, a jewel, a named sword, for example? Any of those would be specific enough.
I am afraid that I do not know. She does not. She is not the type for gems or jewels or accoutrement of any sort. She does what she will,
If
whenever
the
she
swords
wants.
have a name,
Unfortunately, her blade is here with me. She told me herself that she has no need for the blade on this quick jaunt to the town over.
Unfortunate.
I don't suppose that, if she does sport the expert combat prowess in which you boast, I'm assuming this would be more of a delivery mission as a means to get her the blade, more than a rescue mission.
She is skilled with the blade, but she is not. She's proficient with the blade, but I want to make it my. I, as the DM, want to make it clear that I'm not trying to say that she is somehow this expert marksman or
Duelist.
swordsman.
yeah,
Fighter.
that's not what I was getting at. I'm trying to figure out whether she has anything on her that's unique enough for locate object.
He has expressed.
Yeah, that's
you
what I was getting from that too.
Yeah.
Like any article of clothing or like any jewelry, and
But
well, no jewelry.
clearly, the answer is no. So
The answer is no. She
No?
does not have. She does not one of material means.
What was? I mean, not even something that she was last wearing.
that literally, we've established that this is a no. That's the reason I asked about a named sword, because that's the only option I could have thought of. But no. So
And that's just.
it's
She
what
has
it is,
nothing.
you know.
I
Worth a
do
try.
want to. Trying to make dramatic, but you are interrupted by a chorus of muffled shouting that can be heard in the hallway just beyond Mateo's door. Suddenly, the office door is swung open, and let me just pop that. There you go. It's swung open, and a young man stumbles in, clutching his abdomen. His face is screwed in an expression of pain and urgency. Sir
Brian-
Finch, he
I'm
stammers
gonna
out.
rush over to him.
Mateo,
as you-
Hush, hush. Here,
He,
Brian's going.
go ahead, say it again.
Brian is going to, just based off of his visibility and how badly hurt he looks, Brian's going to give him one of the healing potions she brews from Alchemist Artificer.
Full.
It's 1d8 plus 3. Plus 2.
He downs. Go ahead and roll that for me, actually.
Yeah.
Healing potion.
Yeah.
Eight.
Ooh,
nice.
not bad.
He is still in poor shape. You have taken an edge off, and he is just able to make out now. We found it! As he coughs up some blood, and holds out with his left hand a blood-stained map to Mateo, Sir Finch.
Is there anyone here who can give him medical attention?
Mateo calls out Mateo does not excuse me. Mateo rushes towards the young man, and I thought I had a name, and I do actually. His name is Janko. Janko, Are you okay? You found it. And he kind of grabs the map from him. He is focused on Jenko, but he seems to be distracted. Mateo begins to give a shuddering breath. He needs help urgently.
What I gave him should take the edge off, but I'm no healer. I just have been practicing. I might have a couple more, if that might help. I can dab
I mean,
a couple
healing's
spells
not my
on it.
There
expertise,
is
but I
somebody in
could
this party
possibly
who
provide.
has healing proficiency.
Yes, I only have
Moonzic.
3 uses of it though, so I'm trying to use it sparingly, but here.
I think this would be a good
Or
time to use it.
Give him a medicine check.
Here. Let me help him. And he's going to whip out his healer's kit and he's going to expend a use of it to heal him up.
Do you only have that many uses left? 2 more after this?
Yep.
Well, no, he
You
cause,
can
okay.
have some
so
of
I wanna
mine.
make it clear. I want to make it clear because I think that there's some confusion about that. You can still do a medicine check
Oh, okay.
without using your
Okay, yeah.
feet.
I'll do that then.
Like, yeah,
I-
you don't
yeah.
have to use that. You can still do a medicine check.
Oh god.
Okay.
It's a natural one.
He's fine. He's perfectly fine.
He is bleeding everywhere. It's hard to see even where the wound is coming from. And I think there's maybe a little bit of uncertainty as you are in a new identity. How much you should know.
Knowing, like, despite, like, he has a moment of panic as he's not sure if he should reveal all of his talents as a different identity, but then he snaps back to, this is a life that is important here and now. It doesn't matter about that. He needs to help. And he's going to say, Edward, you do have some proficiency with healing. Help me out with this.
I have none. I mean, I have a couple healing potions in my satchel.
Just try and
Seriously.
hold. Just try and apply some pressure.
Brine,
Just try and.
And I'm assuming Edward has to make a medicine check with this,
I'm
as
just
he's
trying to get.
frantically.
I'm just trying to get any way to get a second roll on this. Like, i.e., advantage.
Advantage
Well,
and guidance.
I
Yeah.
will say you already did the medicine check, so you can't gain advantage on a check that you've already had.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's wasn't even like a close. It was a
No, I know. It wasn't that one.
Natural. I have a potion of healing in my inventory. I can hand it to him.
here's the thing: the potions Brine's using are from Alchemist. So I can dump a couple of spell slots into more of those healing potions, and we can get them back on a short rest. I'm okay.
We found
doing
our healer, guys.
We found a means of healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, I should have rolled for one at the end of my long rest, but we kind of just were doing a bunch of downtime into this day, so I didn't really get the opportunity to do
that
the
in
whole
this
thing.
scenario. Yeah.
But after a long rest in an adventuring day, I can do a lot of stuff. In this case, I'm just going to dump 2 spell slots, and I'm going to hope we get a long rest between now and getting to the cave. So
Okay, best I can do is pain relief.
8 plus 2.
With 9, so 8 plus 9 is 16. Yes, that beats it. Junko's, excuse me. Junko's. Janko is breathing stabilized with the second one. You see that he was very nearly unconscious with the exertion of getting here. And but he has since stabilized. And he looks at a lot of you and says, thank you. But Isla, his hands tremble. He points to the map. And I think with this, Mateo regards you all with concern at what you guys might face as, and confidence that you will persevere given your nature. Holding Jenko's hand, he says to you with a newfound sense of confidence that was stuttered from before. My brave friends, it's clear that your time is of the essence. Jenko and my scouts have done their part, and it has come quite suddenly. Time for you to do yours.
We will. Please make sure he gets to someone who can treat him.
I will. I wish there was more that I could provide for you on your journey. But you have my trust and my utmost gratitude, nonetheless. Drive your steel into that monster's heart, so that my daughter and I may dance upon his corpse. Gods be with you. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Thank you.
Love it. Don't love that
Love
one, but I love the session. All right. Thank you all so much for watching this second thank you so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Go check out my Twitch page. Link in the description below, along with the scribe and a link to Dawn of Time 06. Go check them out on Monday for Group A.
Maybe. I will say, yeah. So there has been Monday it may be something a little different.
Okay, well,
we'll see.
We'll cross the bridge when we get there, if we need to. Well, other than that, yeah. Go check out my YouTube page for more videos, more Wildemount. I do Metroid Prime randomizers and all that, and as well as some goofy stuff with the Goon Squad. Thank you all so much for watching once again, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.